Hello, this is Mohammed Sai Sarwar, and I'm going to present on the topic impact of startups and entrepreneurs on the economy of United Kingdom. So, a topic of significant interest on to policymakers, academics, and practitioners is how startups and entrepreneurs impact the United Kingdom economy. The topic has been extensively researched, but more research is required to understand the trends and patterns of the entrepreneurship and startup activity in the UK. This report examines the challenges faced by the startups and entrepreneurs, provides recommendation for the policymakers and stakeholders to support and promote the growth of startups and entrepreneurship in the UK, and evaluates the contribution startups and entrepreneurs make to job creation and economic growth. There are several reasons for the importance of this research. A comprehensive understanding of the contribution of startups and entrepreneurs to the UK economy can aid policymakers in designing policies and programs that support and encourage entrepreneurship. Secondly, policymakers and stakeholders can develop strategies to address the challenges faced by the startups and entrepreneurs and promote their growth and sustainability by understanding the challenges they face. Thirdly, for policymakers and stakeholders can identify areas for additional support and growth opportunities by understanding trends and patterns of entrepreneurship and startup activity in the UK. If we see the data, 2022 to 2021, say over 800k new incorporations, the biggest number in the UK history for 1 year. 53k new companies were set up between March 2021 and March 2022. Although this is a decrease in the record set the previous year, it is still second highest number on incorporations in UK history. The company register reached around about 4,000k companies in 2016 to 2017, and it is likely to hit 5,000k by March 2023. In 2021 to 2022, more than 2,000 companies a day were incorporated. Only 38.4% of companies set up in 2016 survived for 5 years. 8.1% of companies incorporated in the record 2022 to 2021 year were dissolved within a year, the highest percentage for 5 years. So one potential research problem related to the topic of impact of startups and entrepreneurs on the economy of United Kingdom could be: to what extent do startups and entrepreneurs contribute to job creation and economic growth in the UK? And how can government policies support their development? This research problem seeks to understand the role of startups and entrepreneurs in the UK economy, including their contribution to job creation, innovation, and economic growth. The question of how government policies can support their development is also important, as it can help identify potential areas of improvement and intervention. To answer this research problem, a qualitative research method could be used. Qualitative data could be gathered through interviews or surveys with startup founders, investors, and policymakers. Analyzing policy documents and case studies of successful startups could also be provide valuable insights into effective strategies for supporting the growth of startup and entrepreneurs in the UK. The impact of startups and entrepreneurs on the economy of United Kingdom is a topic of significant interest to policymakers, academics, and practitioners. While there has been some research on the topic, there is still a need for further analysis to understand the trends and patterns of entrepreneurship and startup activity in the UK. Evaluate the contribution of the startups and entrepreneurs to the job creation and economic growth. Examine the challenges faced by the startups and entrepreneurs, and provide recommendations for the policymakers and stakeholders to support and promote the growth of startups and entrepreneurship in the UK. This research is important for several reasons. First, understanding the contribution of startups and entrepreneurs to the UK economy can help policymakers design policies, programs to support and promote entrepreneurship. Second, understanding the challenges faced by the startups and entrepreneurs can help policymakers and stakeholders develop strategies to address these challenges and promote the growth and sustainability of startups. Third, understanding the trends and patterns of the entrepreneurship and startup activity in the UK can help policymakers and stakeholders identify areas with additional support is needed and where there may be opportunities for growth. The major objective of this dissertation is to understand how startups and entrepreneurs are focused on developing business that is focused on the contributing towards the economy. So basically the research objectives are to identify the existing presence of startups and entrepreneurs in the United Kingdom. Second one, to identify statistics related with the startups and entrepreneurs influence in the United Kingdom. And third one, to understand correlation between employment and economy in the relevance with startups and entrepreneurs in the UK. And fourth one is to propose a conclusive role of startups and entrepreneurs in the United Kingdom for the future betterment of the country. So there are three research questions. What is the correlation between startup and increase in employment? At what extent startups and entrepreneurs influences the employment increase in the UK? And what extent the startups and entrepreneurs contributed to the economy of United Kingdom? During literature review, I have read a number of articles, journals and books. According to Alan Gibb article, it argues that the traditional concept of creative destruction in the entrepreneurship, where new businesses replace old ones, should be replaced by a new concept of creative reproduction, which focuses on the creation of new businesses that complement and enhance existing ones. The author suggests that this approach can lead to more sustainable and inclusive economic development. Author draws on existing research and case studies to support that argument, including example of successful business that have used the creative reproduction approach to complement existing businesses and create new opportunities. The concept of creative reproduction in the entrepreneurship, which emphasizes the creation of new businesses that complement and enhance existing ones. The article draws on a range of theories and related to entrepreneurship and economic development, including Schumpeter's concept of creative destruction, Peter's theory of competitive advantage, and concept of social entrepreneurship. Second, according to Eric Stam and Ben Spiegel, the article discusses the emerging field of entrepreneur ecosystem research, which focuses on the complex network of actors and institutions that support entrepreneurship. The authors argue that this research can help to better understand how entrepreneurship develops in different contexts and how policymakers can support and promote entrepreneurship through ecosystem level interventions. The authors draw on existing research and case studies to support the argument, including example of successful ecosystem level interventions in different regions and industries. The concept of the entrepreneur ecosystem, which refers to complex network of actors and institutions that support entrepreneurship. The article draws on a range of theories related to entrepreneurship and economic development, including the resource-based view of the firm, institutional theory, and social network theory. According to the Jean Michel, the article examines the impact of entrepreneurial and institutional factors on the internationalization of startups in France. The author argues that both individual entrepreneurial characteristics and institutional factors, such as government policies and the availability of sources, play a significant role in the internationalization process. The author draws on quantitative data analysis of sample of French startups to support argument, including analysis of individual entrepreneurial characteristics, institutional factors, and international outcomes. The Concept of entrepreneurial and institutional factors, which refers to the individual characteristics of the entrepreneurs and broader institutional environment in which they operate, and their impact on the internationalization of startups. The article draws on the range of theories related to the entrepreneurship and international business, including the resource-based view of the firm, institutional theory, and internationalizational theory. The question here might be that why use the article linked with the firm? This article was used to understand a common advantage of overview of startups and entrepreneurs and its help for policymakers. So, startups and entrepreneurs are known for their unique approach to the business and their ability to innovate in their respective industries. As a result, these entities have gained a lot of attention in recent years, not only for their ability to create value, but also for their impact on the economy. One of the most notable countries where startups and entrepreneurs have been making a significant impact is the United Kingdom. In this dissertation, we will explore the application of core competence and resource-based view theory on the topic impact of startups and entrepreneurs on the economy of UK. According to the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor report for the 2021, the total early stage entrepreneur activity rate in the UK was 11.2%, which is higher than the average for Europe and G7 countries. Startup in the UK raised 11.1 billion in venture capital invest in 2020. UK employment, according its UK employment. The turnover, which is a record high and 27% increase from the previous year. The number of tech startups in the United Kingdom increased by 24% in 2020 despite the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2019, startups in the United Kingdom created 3.3 billion, which is equivalent to 10% of the total high growth of the startup in the UK, increased 33% from 2015 to 2018. Reaching 98 billion in 2018. So overall, the presence of startups and entrepreneurs in the UK is significant, with supportive ecosystem, government policy that aim to foster and their growth and success. The research methodology used for this study is qualitative research method using secondary data. The use of secondary data is appropriate as the data aims to examine the existing literature and data related to the startups and entrepreneurs in the UK economy. Research philosophy refers to a set of beliefs and assumptions that guide the researcher's understanding of the nature of the knowledge, reality, and the research process. In this study, the research philosophy chosen is interpretivism. In the context of studying the impact of startups and entrepreneurs on the UK economy, an interpretive approach is appropriate as it allows for the comprehensive examination of subjective experiences and interpretations of entrepreneurs, investors, policymakers, and other stakeholders. This approach recognizes that the impact of startups and entrepreneurs is not solely determined by the objective measures such as GDP, but also by the perceptions, experiences of the individuals involved. The research approach selected for this study is qualitative approach. In this qualitative approach that is appropriate as it allows for the more nuanced understanding of the experiences, perspectives, and interactions of individuals and groups involved in the startup ecosystem. This approach recognizes the complexity of social phenomena and the need to explore them in depth to gain insights in their nature. And the research strategy refers to the plan of action that researcher follows to achieve the objectives of the research. The research strategy adopted for this study is document analysis of secondary data. Document analysis involves reviewing and analyzing existing documents such as reporting articles and other written materials to gain insights into the research topic. In the context of the studying the impact of startups and entrepreneurs on the economy, on the UK economy, this research strategy is appropriate as it follows the research to access a wide range of data resources that provide information on the topic. The secondary data resources that will be used in this study include academic articles, government reports, and statistics from the relevant agencies. These sources provide rich and diverse data on the impact of startups and entrepreneurs on the UK economy. For this study, secondary data sources were used, including academic literature, reports, and databases. These resources were selected based on the relevance to the research objectives and their credibility. The data was assessed from the existing sources and no new data was collected. Various data analysis methods were used to analyze the secondary data, including content analysis, thematic analysis. Content analysis was used to categorize and quantify the data, while thematic analysis was used to identify pattern, themes, relationship within the data. Since secondary data was used in this study, there was no need of research instruments. The time horizon is an important consideration in any research study, as it refers to duration over which data is collected. In this study, the time horizon refers to the period over which the impact of startups and entrepreneurs on the UK economy is analyzed. Hence, cross-sectional time horizon is selected. The time horizon selected for this study was from 2013 to 2023. So these are the findings. The Federation of Small Business found that the areas outside London and Southeast and lower levels of startup activity and job creation rate. And this suggests that the regional factors play a significant role in determining the success of startups and entrepreneurs. For instance, a recent study found that the presence of small accelerators had a positive impact on the growth of the performance of startups in some regions, but not others, highlighting the importance of regional factors such as access to the funding, infrastructure, support networks. There are several factors that impact the success of startups. Some of these factors are discussed here. Access to the funding. One of the key factors impact that the success of entrepreneurs accessing to the funding. Research has shown that the region with better access to funding have a higher level of startup and job creation rates. Also found that the access to the venture capital was positively associated with the growth of highly tax firms in the United. Second one is the infrastructure, and the third one is regulatory environment. The regulatory environment can also have a significant impact on the success of startups and entrepreneurs. There are also cultural factors such as attitude towards risk taking and entrepreneurship can also impact the success of startups and entrepreneurs. So here is conclusion. Job creation in the UK economy is heavily influenced by the startup and high growth firms, with high growth firms accounting from approximately 20% of total job creation between 2012 and 2015. Some regions, however, have a lower levels of startup activity and job creation than others when it comes to the impact of startups and entrepreneurs on the economy. An analysis by the Federation of Small Businesses found the lower activity and job creation outside London and Southeast. In order to ensure that benefits of the entrepreneurship are spread qualify across the country, policies that support startup and entrepreneur growth in all the regions. It has been shown that the UK economy can benefit from the startups and entrepreneurs, but entrepreneurship has also some challenges and limits. It can be challenging for the startups to secure funding and grow their businesses due to high level of uncertainty and risk. Startups and entrepreneurs, especially in industries such as healthcare and finance, may also have significant regulatory and administrative burden. Especially in industries with high level of regulation, startups may find it difficult to achieve the same level of success as established firms. Based on the analysis of available literature, here are some recommendations. Improve infrastructure. Policymakers should invest in improving infrastructure in underdeveloped regions to attract business and entrepreneurs. This includes improving transport links, access to high-speed broadband, other essential infrastructure. Build sport networks. Policymakers should focus on building sport networks for startups and entrepreneurs. This includes providing mentorship, coaching, and access to the industry network. Encourage entrepreneurship education. Policymakers should encourage entrepreneurship education in school and universities. Promote regional development. Policymakers should create incentives for the business to establish in underdeveloped regions. Monitor impact. Policymakers should monitor the impact of policies and interventions on the startups and entrepreneurs. This can help to identify areas where further support is needed and ensure that the policies are effective in promoting economic growth and job creation. So here are the references for this presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I will attach my speaker notes to this presentation as well. Thank you so much.